It's cool to take it all in. Like you got to kind of zoom out. I'm such a kid in those scenarios since I've been trying to do this for like almost 17 years, and finally being able to go out on the road and fulfill this dream. 16-year-old Chris comes out when I go on the road now.
Welcome to Nashville Drummers Podcast, episode 51.
Today we're stoked to invite Chris Rayner to the podcast. He's currently drumming for Clayton Mullen, along with many other artists in town and out of town.
One of my favorite things that we cover in this interview, and that just came up naturally because of who this guy is the concept of horizontal integration and how that can massively affect your career and can be a way into circles that you otherwise would have no direct way in.
Yeah, without giving too much away, Chris works on RVs, and that has actually been a huge part to his journey here in Nashville. We go through an absolutely hilarious, might be the most incredible story that I've heard on the podcast of him moving to town, and yeah, we'll leave it at that. But
yep.
For anyone that's working a 9-to-5 or doing something that's not maybe your passion, I think this is a good reminder to just keep going. And like, you also will never know where those non-drumming, non-career moves that you think are not related actually will help you and can be very related, you know?
Yes.
Thanks for that.
I'm so sorry. I just got lost in the sauce there thinking about the interview. Okay. We hope you enjoy episode 51 of the Nashville Drummers Podcast.
Stop time, truth don't lie, as far as I can tell. The heart don't break easy.
The first time I saw someone like hit crashes behind them was you know the Veronicas?
No.
Yeah.
They went on tour with Demi Lovato and the Jonas Brothers. I had a girlfriend who was in a fight with her best friend, and I was in replacement of her best friend because they were in a.
Wait, I need like a Venn diagram of whatever you just described.
I saw like the Joe Bros, peak Disney Joe Bros, because my girlfriend was in a fight with her best friend, and got to see it. Which Demi Lovato's drummer is like on every record. He's just a crazy session dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, he hit crashes like behind him. Pretty sure it was like the Rude series, you know, like the painted ones.
Yep.
You know. But
good old Rude.
It's a choice.
Man.
It's a choice.
Yep. The first guy I ever saw do it was John Blackwell. He would have that China back, and he would do the forward hit. He would go behind it and then just go. Like, it was kind of hilarious, but also I was like, "There's something there." Mm-hmm. And he's like, playing for Prince. He had great pocket, but just like that. I was at the time. I was like, that looks really weird to me. Yeah. But I'll embrace a weird setup and weird choices because you know what? Individuality is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. If you got a thing that stands out, you know?
Yeah. Why not? Why not do a thing if you can do it well?
If it works, for sure.
I was saying this to, I wonder get your thoughts on this. I was like saying to a crew I played with, like, we should have some sort of gimmick. They're like, well, what if our gimmick is just being really good? I was like, yeah, but that's already the gimmick, and that's got a limit because you know who doesn't know that we're really good? Anybody that's listening.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that. Yeah, like 1 in 500 people comes in and goes, oh, those guys are really good. Everyone else is like, they're really good because they're
Broadway.
playing a song that I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They did a song that I just paid for. Yay.
Right. Hooray. Or they did the song I paid for, and oh, I forgot. I actually don't want to hear that song, and we'll leave in the middle of it.
Or it's like 12 slots down, right?
Yes.
Or like, and you're just not. I've paid for multiple songs and haven't gone and played.
Really?
Yeah. I wanted them to play Nationwide Is On Your Side, like the Brad Paisley version. All they had to do was literally just go Nationwide Is, and
that
they just looked at it and went, ha,
yeah.
and just like, it took my $20.
Wow.
I paid him $20 for that.
Damn.
That's cheap. There's a guy I play with named Chad who he will throw that in at the end of songs. So just come down and listen to one of our sets.
Okay.
And I guarantee it'll just be at the end of like at least 5 or 6 songs throughout the 4-hour set.
It's cool. I've never heard anyone play that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a country song. Brad Paisley.
Oh, the actual song. Yeah. I thought you just meant just the jingle.
It's a one-line jingle.
Yeah.
It's just a little jingle. And that's it. Anyway, here we are.
Here we are. Yeah. Chris Rayner, welcome to the National Drummers Podcast.
Thank you.
Can I just say, I love your Instagram bio.
Thank you.
I can clap on time at shows. That made me chuckle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Somebody's got to do it.
He didn't sneeze. He's fine.
Yeah.
What about those big, nice, like upbeat claps? You know, like church shit.
Yeah. I like to go off time.
Yeah, good. That's good. Yeah. Throw them off a little bit. Keep them on their toes. It's on time, guys. I didn't say I wouldn't metrically modulate. Anyway.
No, thank you guys for having me. This is crazy.
Yeah, man.
I've been following since day one, so.
No kidding.
Appreciate
cool.
that.
Dude, thank you, man.
Yeah. I mean, I moved to town and then, like, I mean, you know, you kind of follow people moving to town at first and, you know, try to kind of get into the scene and, you know, meet people and whatnot. And the cool thing you guys created here is just kind of special, especially with the whole community and whatnot. So
I appreciate you saying
that's
that.
neat.
Yeah. Well, we're happy to have you a part of it now.
It's cool to see it just get bigger and bigger.
Absolutely.
You know, how long you guys had it?
2021.
Yeah.
Nathan was our first episode.
Yep.
Sick.
Hot dogs and hey, you're wearing the daddy's dogs.
I am. Yep.
Tank top. There
Throwback, baby.
It's crazy. Yeah, we're approaching our 50th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to be after 50, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's pretty wild.
Yeah, 50's not up yet, but yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, where did you move from? Kind of give us your background.
Moved from North Carolina
Yep.
to here. I'm originally from Florida, St. Pete, Orlando area. I lived there most of my life. And then my wife got a job opportunity in North Carolina, and so we moved there. And I did a little bit of music in North Carolina where we were. We were in Winston-Salem, which is like kind of country in between Raleigh and Charlotte.
Yeah.
So there's not much. I mean, the small music scene there, I mean, that exists is phenomenal.
Yeah, I think that's where my buddy Jonathan Green lives.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
Yeah. So do you know Tim Roberts?
Tim Roberts.
Reverie, drums, stackering,
Oh,
percussion.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Shout out Tim.
What's up, Tim?
But so I met Tim there. I play like his clap stacks and his case stacks. And I actually have a kit at Nelson's that he redid for me and everything. But he played for an artist there named Victoria, and they're just an awesome, sick band. And they play with like Charlie Hunter now.
Oh, cool.
Crazy guitarist.
Yeah, Charlie's a monster.
Yeah. And then is it George Slepik?
Yes.
Yes. So like there's that whole group. And that's all I know, like in that area, and they're all super great.
Yeah.
So I got to do that stuff, play at church, and you know, do a little bit of things. You know, there I had a small drum space, but before we moved there, I really didn't have like a place to play music. I mean, like right out of high school, I was in an indie rock band, and the whole band kind of lived together, so we could really play like whenever we wanted to. And kind of tried that whole thing for like 5 years, and nothing really took off. I mean, we did some really cool things, but it's hard to get out of Florida.
Yeah.
You know, because unless you're like a great metal scene, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of a lot of bands out of, you know, and you got like Wage War, A Day to Remember, and
Is that where Wage War is from? Is from
they're
Florida?
Ocala, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I do love them.
Yeah. No, they're super cool. But for like indie rock, if you want to get out, like I remember our bass player, still one of my best friends, he was always saying, we got to move to Nashville. And I was just like, man, 2 of the guys in the band weren't even ready for it. And so who knows if it would have panned out well up here if we moved maybe 15 years ago,
Right.
you know? So I've been going at this for a bit, but just straight from North Carolina. I've been here for about 3 years too.
Dude, that's awesome.
3 years in August.
I'm sure we'll definitely want to jump back even earlier, kind of figure out your roots and influences in your first kit, of course, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If you could share with us. So you've been out with Clayton on tour, right? Just kind of give us who you're playing with and kind of what you're currently up to. Then maybe we can go backwards from there.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Clayton Mullen, started playing with him like in September last year. Found out about that gig through a buddy, and it's been awesome. The most I've been playing since I've been here. And then we went on the road with Warren Ziders in February, which is like entire sold out, tour, which was sick.
That's cool, man.
I'd never played like that many sold out shows or anything like that. So it was sick. And the crowds were great.
Dude, I think we first connected through Instagram, and I just want to say it's been really like joyful to see your journey literally through content. And I can see how genuine genuinely like excited and happy you are from
For
like
sure.
I remember one of your posts was like, this is a core memory. And it's like it's got like the GoPro footage and like this is how special that must have been.
I try to record every set for like progress. And then as well, just like, of course, content, because you kind of got to like keep up with it. But I have like just a ton of flash drives trying to get like a board mix if I can't get like a multi-track type thing, you know. But I mean, that's the ideal move if I can remember, like ask the sound guy, like, you know, to like stick one in to get something. But it's already hard enough dealing with some sound people, you know?
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Yeah.
I like what you said too. Like,
well, I don't know what you mean. I've never had a difficult experience with an audio engineer or a singer.
Accommodating.
Yeah.
What you said of like recording for content, right? For the algorithm, for social media, but like for you, like I think that's maybe a forgotten benefit. It's like to go back and have the tapes and the board tapes and see your growth, you know?
Yeah, no, it's funny because I was kind of going through clearing out some stuff and just seeing how we kind of evolved playing the songs a bit. And then just kind of like Clay played with a band before us, but like this is his first time like doing big stuff. So it's cool to kind of see how we all mesh with each other, you know, with our musical chemistry and just to kind of see how it evolves. That's neat.
Yeah.
How long have you been recording the pieces of the set? Like the entirety of the time you've been doing it?
Yeah. Basically, I mean, I'll just throw like a 360 cam somewhere, and then, you know, if I can get like every single show, then I can, you know, look back and check out everything.
Is there anything that you've done? Obviously, like the trend is just like progress. Go like, well, we're doing this, and I'm glad we made that. Have there been any times when you went back to an old version of something and went, oh, we used to do that. We should do that. That was cool.
Yeah. No, there's cool things for sure. But I also like, I try not to do it too much because I'll beat myself up over it. It's almost like watching a game tape, you know? Like, I could have done something here. I could have done something there.
There's always something you could have
I'm
done.
my worst critic for sure. And I need to like definitely lighten up on it because I always go back and kind of critique things or like, you know, always trying to improve, you know? But no, it's been awesome.
What I love about that right away is you can get a cool gig and nail the gig and then just go, cool. So now I'm nailing the gig and that's what I do and stop the thought process right there. But it takes a real G to do the thing, record it and go, cool. So let me go back and examine that game tape to borrow your phrase, which I would use as well. And go, what could I do better? Like, how do I lay in the pocket better? How do I put the vocals out in front better? How do I lay a foundation for everybody better? Yeah. That just asking that, how do I make this better?
Yeah.
Always is huge. A lot of people just don't do that.
Yeah.
It's complacency.
Yeah. No, it's unreal to think about, you know, when you're actually doing something you've worked hard to that you want to pursue, and then you're finally doing it, and to kind of like zoom out and be like, wow, this is happening. So, you know, looking back at all that, kind of like taking it in, because we're on stage for like, 30 minutes to an hour sometimes. And it's like a blink of the eye and it's all over. So it's nuts. I mean, I still feel, you know, a lot in Nashville where you accomplish something that you've been working towards, you know, your whole life. And then it finally happens. And then you just kind of have to like, I don't know, process it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Let it hit.
Yeah.
Like how you stay hungry. It's like,
you always want to do more.
Yeah.
You know?
But you have to stop and appreciate those wins, those moments for sure.
Are you familiar with, this is proverb. I actually heard it for the first time recently, but I've heard things of this nature forever. And it's the person who enjoys walking walks further than the person who enjoys the destination. Yeah. And I'm like, well, that immediately hit me. Like, that's because I do enjoy walking, put air quotes on that. I know for me that I've been guilty of getting caught up in like focusing so much on the destination that I don't enjoy the process of getting there. Like, but that's most of the life that I'm going to live, is just going toward those things. And really the instant that I accomplish that thing is that quote unquote destination. Right.
Yeah. No, it's cool to take it all in. Like you got to kind of zoom out. I mean, I'm such a kid in those scenarios since I've been trying to do this for like almost 17 years, and finally being able to, go out on the road and, fulfill this dream. I mean, it's hard not to kind of like be a cheese ball about it, and you're trying to also be super professional, you can totally be giddy about it and everything.
Yeah, and you deserve that. Like, you totally deserve that.
Yeah. I mean, I remember seeing like bands that I idolize, like go out on the tour when they were like 16 years old, so like the 16-year-old Chris comes out when I go on the road now, So
I like that. Yeah.
That's great, man.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I've always been like, I don't know. There's like a level like how people are serious about it and how, are really joyful about it. Some people are very internal, and I'm very extroverted. So it definitely comes out a lot.
Yeah. Give us some memorable shows from the Clayton run so far.
Man, we played this place called Kane's Ballroom. I think it's Oklahoma. Iconic place. I mean, like Sid Vicious has like a punch mark like in the wall, and he like signed it, and the amount of signatures in that green room are like super sick, and the amount of history that venue has. It's so cool. I mean, Foo Fighters played there in like 98.
Wow.
U2 played there in 89. It's just that's really sick.
Yeah.
It's cool because it's like it's Kane's Ballroom, so it looks like a ballroom. There's like a big dance floor, but they built this stage on top of like this old wood stage, and you can crawl underneath and like sign under the rafters. And it's sick. I've heard like some people take like their meet and greets under there. You have to like crawl on your knees, and they'll play like acoustic guitar under the stage.
Whoa.
It's
Here,
sick.
sign this liability waiver, and then let's go.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I love an iconic place over like just a typical venue.
Yeah.
Like something with a lot of history.
Yeah, some meaning.
Yeah.
It sounds like almost an experience. That I've never been to that venue, but
Oh yeah. Like
That's
any
really
place
cool.
I could play that like any of my heroes played, like is just insane to me.
Yeah.
Even though it's like so long ago and it's just a room, but like the fact that things happen in that room, it's cool.
The thing is that room will never not be the room where they played. Once they've done it,
Yeah.
it's done. Hey, they played here that one time.
Yeah.
It's like you can't see the difference, but it's different now.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Like it's just, I don't know. It's weird how the universe works.
No, it's cool. We played Arkansas, and they're the home of the Hogs, Fayetteville, Arkansas. And so our bass player like called the Hogs, which I'm not a big sports guy, but they had this whole chant, and like everybody, we pre-show called the Hogs, and then I have I've got like a SPDSX, and it just has a big old like sub drop into our intro.
Is it like a suey kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a suey thing. It's a suey. Yeah, they go suey.
I love a good hog call, man.
Yeah, honestly,
that's so country.
Yeah, he was totally down to do it, and I was like, man, are you sure they're gonna do it? And it was like 2,500 people, and they're all just like chanting it, and it was perfect because right as the last call, I just like hit the pad and it was like, whoo, like big old sub drop. Dude.
A sub drop after a hog call.
That's on Instagram. You can watch it. It's sick.
That's on Instagram? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm definitely watching that.
Yeah. No, those are fun shows. We have a lot of fun on stage. Some of our guys are just like all over the place. So
what's the makeup of the band?
So we're a 5-piece, 2 guitarists. We got Nick and Mike, and Clay plays acoustic, and then Grant on bass. They're all super awesome guys, super solid players.
Yeah. That's refreshing to hear that you have like a more legit full band lineup, and it's not just a 3-piece with tracks.
Yeah.
Nothing against that. Nothing against that.
We're not heavy on tracks. We got some organ. No, I want to throw in like aux percussion and like more stuff, but you guys are like you big into Ableton and stuff.
Not me. That guy.
I know he is.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
In the Ableton manual, it says, "Do not." It just says no.
It just said no.
To Nathan.
Yeah.
Why is it just the giant N and O on one page and then the next?
Sorry, that was so mean.
I feel like I need to get, if I add a bunch more stuff, I need to get more like an Ableton because I'm like doing everything on the pad.
Yeah.
Which it's worked out. It hasn't crashed on me.
So you mentioned the hog call. Is that the only electronic part of the set, or are there other moments?
I mean, we had this this whole intro, like I kind of orchestrated where like it kind of comes in with these like really fatty subs. And then I kind of come in and then like guitarist like solos over that. And then it's like the same kind of chord progression as like the first song we play anyway. So it kind of seamlessly goes into that. And then like Clay like walks out. So it's been really cool. And then, I mean, it kind of like heightens all the senses with everybody in the crowd. So they're feeling it like in their chest, which is just such a sick part of like any show I started, seeing when I was like 15. I remember like feeling the bass and like getting super hyped. Mm-hmm. I always thought that would translate on stage. And then when you get on stage, you feel nothing.
Yeah.
I'm empty.
We can't have that much stage noise. Well, why not? Because it'll sound really bad for everyone else, and you won't be able to understand what's happening.
Dude, but
I want to have my teeth rattling, though.
Part of the reason, I wanted to play big stages is because I'm like, man, if it feels like this out here, it's got to feel insane on stage.
Mm-hmm. It does.
It's insane, dude. We played a concrete stage in Lubbock, Texas, and our guitarist couldn't even hear my drums. The stage was so big. And like his mix was all messed up, and he looks over. I'm like playing full volume, and he couldn't even like hear me.
That's so weird.
That hurts.
You couldn't even feel it.
On concrete too. Just ugh.
Yeah.
How do you get the perfect Nashville kick drum tone? It starts with a Lowboy Leather Daddy bass drum beater. This leather-faced beater occupies the sonic space between felt and wood beaters. It's punchy enough to cut through the mix on those 4-on-the-floor barn burners with the warmth you need for slow ballads. Okay, but who plays a Leather Daddy? Garrett Goodwin from Carrie Underwood's band uses one. Lee Bryce drummer Donnie Marple plays a pair. Walk down Broadway any night of the week and you're going to hear one. In Nashville, you can test drive a Lowboy beater at Drumbox and grab one at Forks, Drum Supply, or Nelson's. Check out lowboybeaters.com to learn more.
Are you sort of acting as like a music director?
Yeah.
With this?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm like the Nashville's worst MD. I don't know chords, and I can mess around a piano and stuff, but I can't tell. I can kind of like hum and make things up, and the guys are pretty good at kind of guessing what I'm trying to interpret. But yeah, I try to. I never like wanted that role. I mean, that's also kind of like why I'm a drummer, because I'm just like back there, like I'm just like trying to hold it down back here. And there's some people that are like super hands on. Like I've seen phenomenal drummers that like know exactly what to tell them, like what chords, and like no, that's not in key, and they have like incredible ear. Yeah. But I'm not there. But I still try to keep everything together. Mm-hmm. Especially like the artists I play for too, like they kind of have an idea, or they have like at least one lead player or something that like knows something, some cool like outro or some like cool intro or something, and we can just kind of pick it up. Yeah. But yeah, balancing, like Clay has definitely been my main gig lately. I've played for like a handful of artists since I've been here. It's been awesome, like having the opportunity with all of them. It's just I try to kind of move around the dates, like as long as it's like not too far out, and see if it kind of sucks when they all conflict. Yeah. But I haven't gotten to Broadway. Not anything against it. I've played a Printer's Alley gig and kind of got a taste of it. It was a 4-hour set. Yeah. That was with someone who we like ran tracks, and it was like
tracks on, was it Alley Taps or?
It was Snitch.
Nice.
Snitch.
It was like on top of two, the MacBook was on top of 2 drum cases. And so it was just like, yeah, I don't know. We were like a 3-piece too. So it was a fun experience. I've always like thought, like I remember when I moved here, I was like, do I need to just have like a whole day and I just like hop and I just creep on bands and wait till they have a break, and then I have to like go bug them to be like, hey, how do I play drums for you? Or like I didn't know how to really get into it. Without, I guess you kind of like, I know they have like auditions and stuff, but yeah, I didn't really know how to get into the scene.
Totally.
And then I remember going to like a Darren King show at, Darren King's so good, at the Basement East. And I told these two, most of the room was like drummers. Did you guys go to that?
No. I was there, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. 2 guys like in the line. I was like, hey man, I just like moved here. I've been here for like a week. And they're like, oh, you playing Broadway? I'm like, no. And they're like, good job.
I think I remember you in line there. I swear to God.
Did you say that?
That wasn't me, but like I just feel like
Were you telling me that?
Yeah, right. That's funny. That was a kick-ass show.
Yeah, it was sick. He wears like a disco ball on his head.
That was insane. Yeah.
I love that guy.
I've always been a mute math fan. No, but like that was kind of weird, like moving here and like two guys at that show were like, yeah, don't play Broadway. And I was like, huh, you know, like, but I mean, I feel like it makes you such a better player. Cause I mean, you're always playing and you always have challenges and you're always like throwing curveballs. So like, I don't think there's like a bad thing about playing it at all. I just think I haven't gotten into like the circuit. Yeah. And I hear like there's like, you know, groups of bars that are all like tied together.
There are, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like it's a whole world.
And there's like rivalries between them and things like that.
It's like Anchorman, basically, that whole scene.
Yeah. And to be totally fair, there are definitely things within that scene, obviously, just like any scene that are just like totally toxic and crazy. But yeah, on the whole, no regrets.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've talked to like my friends. They're like, yeah, I play like Old Red, and it's cool, and I like dabble in it. And I know there's like some massive like musicians that play some like they'll play stadiums like this weekend, and they'll be playing like Tin Roof on Friday.
Yeah,
Jake,
you know,
Jake Summers.
Yeah, Jake, dude, Jake's
Andrew
amazing.
Grasso's come back. He'll play.
Yeah. I mean, it's sick. I think it's awesome about Nashville, where like people can come to town, and you could be seeing Luke Combs drummer.
Right. I think that's the coolest thing about this city.
Yeah. It's cool.
I was just down on Broadway. I was telling him before this. I'm working off of 4 hours of sleep because I was closing down last night. A second fiddle. I don't really ever. That was my first shift this year. But to your point, like it was such a good learning experience. I mean, it was kind of we're kind of thrown to the wolves. The frontman, a SIG didn't come, and we had to just figure it out. And I didn't know a ton of the old country classic songs that the guitar player who was then now fronting was comfortable singing, but we made it work, And so
that's
some good players too.
Yeah, like that's the other thing. You got to learn all the songs.
Yeah,
and
sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean like it's. I mean, you could just learn them. I mean, but there's there's updated songs and there's all the old country ones. I didn't really like
Man, well, first of all, we're definitely off in the weeds on this, which I love. I love to be off in the weeds. Because we're talking about the theoretical, like the Broadway, like if you ever want to do it, just let me know, and
I know there's a way.
I'll put you in the right
I'll
places.
let you finish, but that's how I got this gig. Is a good buddy of mine, Brandon Gick, shout out Brandon. He knows that I've been trying to play more, and he's like, hey, just come in. I sat in once for like on 2 songs like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and then last night
you can sit in over there. That's good to know.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it was a Monday night. It's pretty low key.
Because I know, like,
I don't know if every venue's like that.
You used to be able to sit in on the Tootsie circuit. You can't now. On that circuit, you can't. We can't have anybody who's not like in the circuit getting on. They won't let you. If we let somebody on, we will get in trouble.
Dang.
Because
who's policing that? Like the sound guys know who.
The bartenders will tell. We'll let management know.
Interesting.
Yeah, they'll be like, like if they really like you, they'll be like, they'll let you get away with it. But if they have anything at all against you, which some of them do for whatever reason, then they may just notify the authorities. Yeah. But yeah, dude, if you're ever interested in doing that, I'll put you in the right rooms at the right times. But that is really good to know. Take note, everybody. You can still sit in at second fiddle.
I assume that you could do that everywhere, so that's good to know that you can't do that everywhere.
I wish you could, because we have people come in who I'll even recognize them, and they'll be like, "Hey man, can I sit in?" I'm like, "No, you can't. I'm so sorry. I really would love to have a break." But yeah, thank God there's at least one audio engineer down there who is a pretty good drummer. You're great. Hey man, good job, Ryan Baker. What's up?
I was
buddy?
like, you don't remember his name, do you?
I do, but it's great to like whenever, because he's not really supposed to do that, but he can. It's fine. So I'm like, okay. Give me a break. I need to go pee and just walk around, stretch my back, and he'll come in and do the thing. But anyway, let's change the subject.
I just don't think I got into it because like the one off of Broadway was like, I mean, girls got on stage and like took the microphone and like,
dude,
there was just like all kinds of things happening. There's like a fight happening like to the left. I'm in a window, and like, I mean,
some guys getting kicked out to your.
It was right. It was all crazy. So I just don't think I pursued it again, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But I mean,
I think that's what's cool about this city is like, it's not for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, you've clearly found your own lane doing these other projects. And
yeah.
And that's just as cool, you know? Nothing wrong with that.
I like to be prepared, and I know there's a whole lot of that can like, it's out of your control sometimes, but I think is cool because it's a challenge.
Right. But it's a totally different thing than being like, here's the show and let me get it dialed. And for a person like you who's examining game footage and going, how do I make the show more dialed? How do I make that better? This particular performance, how do I make that better? It's hard to do that when you're playing requests all night. Yeah. Like you still can be like, okay, on this song, the pocket on the chorus feels a little funny. And I'm realizing that. Okay, I got to examine that. But it's different than being like, I know what this 30 minutes is supposed to sound like and what it does sound like. And getting it there. That's a
because when you're in survival mode, like you're just literally trying to get through the song. So it's probably not going to sound the best. But yeah, that's tough.
Sometimes it do be like that. You've heard of Drum Supply, but you gotta see their shop. It's a drum shop experience like no other. They're packed with all the gear a working drummer needs, and so many parts, noise toys, and accessories. It's a toy store. Curated cymbals, kits, and snares. The hands-on percussion room is nuts, and their custom shop work is fast and affordable. Andy and the guys know their stuff, and they're ready to help. And the big news? They've just moved to an awesome new location near the corner of East Trinity Lane and Dickerson Pike. Still in East Nashville, just a couple miles from their old spot, the all-new Drum Supply is twice as big, featuring a dedicated cymbal room, a lesson space, and even more drum gear than ever. Go see the new Drum Supply shop for yourself. Now open 11 to 5 at 2211 Dickerson Pike and online at drumsupply.com.
All right, I have a good subject changer for us here. So when we met for coffee at Living Waters, you brought up you had another job / interest / passion that I think you're still involved with, but if you want to talk about that.
Yeah.
What is it?
Are we talking about RVs?
Yes.
Yeah. I work on like RVs. Like everything from like buses, trailers, fifth wheels, pop-ups, anything like even like Sprinter vans.
In what capacity are you working on them?
Like everything but the engine. So like carpentry, plumbing, electrical, flooring, roof replacements, like everything in that aspect. Like I didn't go to college. I graduated. I went straight to Hot Topic. I worked at Hot Topic for 2 years.
Hell yeah.
I remember that story.
So great. Such a great place to work. I mean, you come in and you just like turn up the music. You get to wear like whatever you want and you get 50% off everything.
Oh, incredible.
It's a great job.
Yeah.
You know, until you can't pay your rent.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I was paying my rent in 2 payments. My rent was like $200. So I like.
But you got half-priced anime T-shirts, which is
exactly.
sick.
See, when you work at the mall, you put all your money back into the mall because you're the food court. You're like, your friends that work at other stores, and you're hanging out with them, and you just put your money back into the mall, and you have to wear Hot Topic clothes.
What other store did you go to? Like after your shift?
I got that was like the birth of like H&M and Cotton On, which was like this Australian company. And so I just kind of like I looked like the most indie guy at Hot Topic for a while because I was kind of like, I was in hardcore bands and I was like in pop bands. And so I still had like swoopy hair, but I was kind of,
Sorry, that's a song title. The most indie guy at Hot Topic.
The most indie guy at Hot Topic.
I'm writing that one down.
But I worked there for a bit and I got a job offer at a RV dealership. And I just kind of climbed the ladder there. I worked crazy hours. And then when I moved to North Carolina, I started a mobile business to where I go out to people and I fix their RVs.
Dude, it's
been cool.
Yeah, and you're still doing that, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I tell everybody it's like a teeter-totter. I'm really trying to like weigh this side down with music so I don't have to do RV stuff. Because I've done it for over 10 years now. And it's just like, not only is it super taxing on your body, but I have like injuries. I fell off an RV last year. It was like right over 2 rivers. It was like 13 feet and it was scary. Yeah. And I don't want to be in a situation where I like hurt myself and I can't even pursue what I'm trying
The thing
to do.
you want,
Yeah.
That's tough. Yeah.
So it's cool. When I moved from North Carolina, I had a buddy who literally was been a merch guy. He's been one of my best friends for 15 years, and he runs it in North Carolina, and I kind of do the RV thing over here. But it's cool because the RV stuff has also linked me to gigs, oddly.
Yeah, I wanted to, that's what I remember.
I want to know about
piqued my
that
interest, yeah.
horizontal
It's
It's so
integration.
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
I never thought, because like typically, I mean, no shame or anything, but the demographic for a lot of RVs is just like people out in the woods, out in the country.
Yeah.
You know, and so I never thought it would actually like. What do I mean? This is like the home of country music,
Right.
But I typically get like everybody from like luxury coaches, and then I get, you know, some rougher parks I work in. So it's the ideal gig is like something that has to do with music or somebody in the music industry, you know. But yeah, I've gotten a couple gigs from it. It's I've gotten to work on some buses for some artists as well. So it's been interesting in that aspect. Within like the first month I was here, I got a call for like a water heater job, and I went out like super late because they had like no hot water. And I got there, and there was a guy in like camouflage bibs, long hair, big old mustache. And we talked for a bit. A lot of my customers like talk to me. Some of them will like lay under the RV with me because they want to like be really hands on. But he was like talking to me.
Bonding experience.
Yeah, that's the other thing about the industry is like when you're on their property at their mercy, they're like definitely more, you know, inclusive. So, but yeah, this guy was talking to me, and I told him I just moved to town. I was a drummer, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a songwriter." Did I tell you this?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. And so he's like, "Yeah, I wrote a couple songs for George Strait." He's like, "I wrote a song called Tennessee Whiskey." And I was like, "Oh yeah, cool." And like I was like, we're just out in the boonies. We're on some like horse property. And I was like, "Okay, cool. You wrote Tennessee Whiskey, yeah." And like we talked for a bit. I was there for maybe like an hour or two, and he's like, "That's crazy, you're a drummer." He's like, "I'm gonna book you on a session." And I was like, "Okay, yeah. Book me on a session." I had like no idea what
Book
that
me
was.
on that session. That's incredible.
And like I left, and his name was Dean Dillon, and I Googled him, and he wrote like 90% of George Strait songs. He wrote The Chair. He wrote like all these things. And I kind of was like, "Oh my God, I'm such a doofus." Like I totally didn't believe him. He wrote Tennessee Whiskey for George Strait because they were like brothers. Then George Jones is the first one to cut it. Yeah. David Allen Coe.
I was going to say David did it too.
The second one, and then Chris Stapleton, did his version of it, which it sounds like nothing like the first version.
No, nothing at all. It's not even remotely the same.
I say, have you ever heard "I'd Rather Go Blind"?
Yes. It is that. It's that. Yeah.
But anyway, so I Googled him. I looked up all the stuff. He was also saying something about like, I'm being inducted in the Country Music Hall of Fame in like a week or two. And I was like, "Hey, good for you, man." Like,
like that's insane.
Like,
dude.
I was just like, I was so new to town. I was like, "Hey, that sounds pretty cool." Like,
so much like overload.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just like, and it was like past 5 o'clock. He's like holding a flashlight for me, and it's like already dark out, and I was just didn't have any concept of who he was. And to this day, like we still keep up with each other. I still go out to him, and he'll tell me he's like writing for Lainey, or he's writing with Miranda or something like that. And I mean, he's just such an awesome guy. But yeah, and he got inducted literally like a week after, 2 weeks after. Like you can go to the Country Music Hall of Fame and see his bronze plaque like in the circle.
That's so sick.
But like a month goes by, and he calls me, and he goes, "Hey, I'm just looking at my calendar. Like, when are you available?" And I like kind of forgot. And I was like, "Yeah, this is good." He's like, "All right, cool. I'm going to book you." And I was like, I have no idea what a session is. Like, I'm going to play drums, but like, I don't know.
So you didn't say what it was for or anything?
I was like the newbie guy that was like, I'm a session drummer. Yeah, I'm ready for a session. I'd played.
What is a session?
Right. No,
That could be its own podcast.
I'm ready to learn. The new podcast named Sessions.
Yes.
I had done stuff in my home studio, and I had been in studios when I was like 16, and I had been in studios when I was like 21. There's like, we go in and we know the songs, but I don't know any songs. You don't know anything. And so he's like, yeah, I'll book you. So I get to the studio. I was like the first one there way too early. It's like a situation where it's like a nice house, the studio's in the backyard. So I just look like I'm already like lost or something, but I have a kit with me. And this guy gets out, and his name's Jim. He's Bob Seger's keys player, and his name is Moose. So everybody, I've talked about Moose like so many times. Everyone's like, yeah, Moose, yeah, he's incredible. And I'm like, sick, okay. And so I got there, and he was like, yeah, just go inside. Like, you're really early. And I'm like, well, I was just like, I don't even know what to expect. Jim was like the last one there. And all these people start rolling in. It's just like awesome players, like this guy Adam Schoenfield plays lead for Tim McGraw. This guy named Dan Dugmore plays pedal steel, like everything. I think Casey Musgraves like posted recently, and she was like in the studio, Dan, and I was like, I was a month in to town, not knowing anything across from this guy, and he was just looked at me so tired, and we were like from the camera, he's like that close to the kit. I'm like, this guy's gonna be so pissed at me, like after we start playing. Yeah. But all these guys, and then you have like basically all these A-class players. You got this guy Kevin Swine on bass, and just me, and I'm a guest of Dean,
right?
And so these guys don't know I'm new. So they probably thought like, oh yeah, this guy's probably incredible. Like, right? And this guy's a session drummer. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, cool. And so we just go in the control room, and they have a whole stack of like these charts, and I don't know charts.
Oh my god.
I had never heard of the Nashville number system. Like, I didn't move to Nashville like super prepared. I came here for a trip. I saw it once, and we went home, put our house on the market within a month. Like, on the ride home, we were like, we're moving to Nashville. And then we sold it. We just moved here. But anyway, so we're listening to a demo, which was like vocals and guitar, vocals and keys. And I'm just like, I'm locked in listening to this. And they hand around these pieces of paper, and I'm looking at like hieroglyphics. And I'm like, I'm just going to hold, everyone seems to be holding this sheet. So I'm just going to like hold it. And I'm just like, man, none of these are music notes. Nothing is not that I know how to read sheet music or anything.
So it's a typical Nashville number chart.
Yeah, I think.
Chords,
I still have the charts.
Okay.
I kept them. I want to hold on to them. I know the number system now. So
are they all like making notes, and you're just like pretending to know?
They're probably not even making notes.
Yeah, they're just like,
no,
okay, yeah,
because they're like the best.
They're pros.
Yeah, they're not even making notes. I looked at the bass player because I'm like, obviously, bassist and drummer are like tight. I'm like, so do I just like come in, or should I like let it breathe a bit and like go? And he's like, just do what you do. And I'm like, yeah, just do what I do. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, it's always just, I just do what I always do because I'm a session drummer.
But I've always
session drummer.
This is the best story. Continue.
Yeah, so we get in, and we just like, he's like, Chris, count us off. I'm like, oh, count us off. And so I just count it. But you're playing with those guys. It's like riding a wave. Everything just flowed. I was probably a little choppy. I'm not saying that I've like improved, like I'm so much better than I was when I moved here, but obviously moving here like kicks you in the butt. It makes you a better player. And so I have progressed. And I look at myself now, and I'm like, I could be so much better. And if I'm here, I must have really sucked at that session, But I really gave it all, gave it my all. Like, it was like my one and only chance, because I didn't really know these guys' creds until halfway through the session, which was good. Yeah. Like, I knew their names. They didn't introduce like, hey, I'm Bob Seger's, like keys player. They didn't say that.
Totally.
But I found out as we went on, and I was just, it was kind of good because like the nerves already kind of came out. And by the third song, we did 8 songs that day. And by the third song, I was feeling pretty good. I was kind of riding a high and mostly like adrenaline. But song by song, we went in, and I memorized the demo. And then I'd come back out and I'd play the whole thing.
And these are songs that you only had just heard?
Yes. Yeah. So I was like, there's no way I would have been able to do that if it wasn't for the adrenaline. And
because it wasn't a chart. Yeah.
Yeah. Because by the third song, they were like, Chris, you can't read numbers, can you? And I was like, no. And they're like, you keep putting your charts on the floor. And I was like, oh yeah, those things. Everyone's, and then
I kept wondering why you kept handing me stacks of paper. Yeah. What's the point of this?
These things? Yeah, I'm a session drummer.
Yeah. I don't know what you guys are doing.
I recognize this stuff, guys.
I don't know how it works where you come from, or where I come from. This is how you session.
I wasn't gonna say anything because I wasn't gonna, I didn't want them to be like, hey, well, go ahead, head home, we'll call in. We still have time to call in a regular guy, which I can't imagine. I still don't know to this day who typically sits in the chair in a room like that. Who knows?
So what was your reaction when they kind of called you out for that and they realized?
He kind of like Dean was like, hey, Chris, can you read charts? And I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, I thought you could read charts. I was like, yeah, I bet you did because I told you I was a session drummer. And I'm sure you probably thought like, yeah, iconic session drummer, but no. It's fine. We kept going. We got through the songs. There was maybe one that was like a tricky like turnaround or like a weird count or something. But we got through it. 4 of those songs got pitched. It was like a whole demo session to like get pitched to other artists, which is mind-blowing to me. It was mind-blowing that I got paid for that session. Yeah. I got like a check from the musicians union called me and they're like, hey, Chris, we got a check. I was like, you get a check for me? And then they're like, yeah, from the session from the team. I was like, okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm a session drummer.
I'll just go in there, yeah. And like picking up a check and people knowing him, and they look at me and it doesn't like match, But it was crazy. I tell that story to a few people. People are like, would absolutely kill to be in that position, which I'm super grateful that it happened. I just wish I was more prepared. I learned the Nashville number system 2 days later.
Yeah.
I've got Jim Riley's book.
There you go. Yeah.
And phenomenal book. If anyone's looking to learn numbers, it's like you just go online and you get to hear the chart and it's like so easy. That's how I was like easy to learn in a couple days. So Dean, after that whole session was like, Chris, let me know when you learn charts. I'll book you on another session. And I was like, okay. And so like a day later, I was like, no charts. I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
So I haven't been on another one, which I totally get, which either he just goes there and he just cuts a couple of his own songs or something. And he's got players. I mean, I hear every studio has like a whole roster of drummers, and typically that one gets called all the time, and then you're like 30 down here, or I'm probably not even on the roster, but it's okay. I'm stoked to have the experience, and it really like kind of kicked my butt like right out of the gates to learn charts, and now that's like super helpful if I start playing with an artist and like they are like, hey, I've got this unreleased song, and they play me like a demo of it. I'm able to chart it right on the spot, and we go ahead and start rehearsing it. I think everybody should at least learn how to chart because it's so helpful in any situation when you're playing with others. And it's way easier to chart as a drummer than like a guitarist, I feel, because you're just mapping out the builds, stops.
Yeah, more the form.
Yeah.
I don't think you necessarily need to know every chord. I mean, that's going to help, but
yeah, it's like
when I make my own drum charts, I'll sometimes write transcriptions and definitely more drummy,
Yeah. Well, we have our buddy Ben Wood. He was like, when I'm doing charts, he literally writes exactly what he's going to play. I'm like, that's.
I didn't learn charts. Yeah. I learned what I needed to. I should dive more into it.
Yeah.
But it was nuts. But that connected me through RV stuff, which I never thought would. And I don't want to be known as like the RV guy. Because everybody it's like,
it's too late. That's going to be in the title now.
I know.
That's the title of the podcast.
I know. The RV.
I'm sorry. I wish I could change it, but I can't.
I literally don't have a work van anymore. I'm really trying to get out of it. But no, I got that. I've met other people that are songwriters that have kind of passed my contacts around. It's crazy. I met one of my drumming heroes through it. Ryan Dawson with All Time Low.
Yeah.
I saw he got a travel trailer, and so I slid into his DMs. If you're watching, and he responded. He's like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, "I'd be totally down. I want to do some stuff with the trailer." And so we started talking, And which was just insane because, I mean, like, when I was 16, I was listening to, like, All Time Low, Mayday Parade, The Main. I mean, I was listening to, like, a bit of everything, but it was kind of in that pop punk realm as well. You know, I mean, from the beginning, I was like Blink-182, Green Day, out. Yep. But yeah, I was definitely in that world, and like that was like the ideal lineup for me. And so I got to meet him, and we talked a bit. And probably after a year of knowing him, he was like, "Hey man, have you ever drum tech before?" And I was like, yeah, I can drum tech, yeah. And then he already has, like, he's got a guy.
I see a pattern here.
I'm a session guy.
I'm a session guy. God, I hope he doesn't see this. I was like, I can drum tech. Listen, I've like taken apart drums. I've sanded them. I've painted them. I was a part of like the whole SJC, Truth, Shine realm of like refinishing drums, like painting the lugs and everything. And so, I mean, I know how to tune. I know like all the maintenance. I can take everything apart. You know, I've always been tempted to like build one of the snare drums or something, you know? So I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, well, like my main guy can't for this one off. Could you do it? And I was like, yeah. And I think that show fell through, or like they had like another guy, and then I had me do it actually, and I did it, and I got to meet the whole band. I mean, everybody in All Time Low was like amazing, super cool guys. Like I haven't been able to meet a lot of my heroes, but you know they say don't meet your heroes. It's really cool when it's a positive experience. Yeah, and I mean every single one of them was so nice, and I was just like. Same thing, kind of zooming out and taking it all in, like, holy shit, this is happening. And like, just if I could go back and tell 16-year-old Chris, one day you're going to move to Nashville and this RV job is going to connect you to one of your favorite drummers. And like, it's nuts. Yeah. And I got to do more shows with them. I did a festival that had Red Jumpsuit. It had The Main, it had Mayday Parade. And had plain white tees. And I was just like sitting side stage the whole time, just like, this is insane. You know?
That's your childhood upbringing.
Yeah. But I've gotten so good about like, I mean, I geek out internally, you know?
Right.
But no, it's been super sick. And just like seeing how he plays like side stage. I mean, the dude, like I was kind of terrified drum teching for him because he hits so hard.
He's a monster.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Hey, have you run playback?" And I was like, "Yeah, playback." He's like, "It's just a space bar," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's just a space bar."
Totally. I've definitely done that.
Yeah, I was like, "Sure, I can hit a space bar." Yeah, and so he's like, "Yeah." These like change the guitar tones, and then it starts the song and stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, it's just change the guitar tones," and they're like, "Yeah." And so I did it, and I think he was a bit nervous about me doing playback. But it was it's such a cool experience. I mean, like seeing those guys kill it. I mean, they absolutely kill every show. I think they're in Asia right now.
Yeah.
I hope everyone's getting the lesson from this, which is that like there's so much to horizontal integration. Because if you've gone to him and been like, "Hey man, I want to be your drum tech," that would have almost certainly have just been a no.
Yeah.
But you didn't do that.
No.
You were like, "Hey, RVs."
Yeah.
RVs. Yeah, and the same with Dean, right? If you had showed up, "Hey, I want to play drums I want to be a session drummer."
No, that's the one thing I never do. I never overstep. Yeah. I've never been kind of a pushy type. I mean, it is really easy to get excited when you move here and you're like surrounded by all the music and all the artists and stuff. And you want to just get like right into it, but you do kind of have to just like take it one step at a time. But I mean, it's like luck as well. I mean, Ryan totally didn't have to like consider his RV guy to tech for
right.
But yeah, no, we've become friends, and I don't know, I'm just fortunate to have the opportunity.
Hey drummers, do you need a place in Nashville to practice on actual drums? Drumbox is Nashville's newest drum practice studio. Book sessions online and get the space to yourself. It's fully equipped with 2 kits, cymbals, hardware, and even sticks are provided. 30-minute, 1-hour, and 2-hour sessions are available at www.drumbox.space and use the coupon code NDP25 for 25% off your first session. Again, That's www.drumbox.space.
I think also, and maybe just as you being humble, but there's something else that we haven't discussed that maybe is part of this, is like you were putting yourself out there, but I'm assuming that you were also a good hang, and you were like your personality, like you gelled with Dean, you gelled with Ryan. Like it wasn't, because like you said, they could have just hired anybody.
Yeah.
But there must have been something more than just, oh, this guy's available. It's like, no, we actually, like Chris he's a homie. He's cool. There's something there that's just like you being a normal dude. Right?
Yeah. I try to be chill. I can be like, I'm pretty extroverted, and there's like a gauge. I always talk about with my wife, like when I go out, and especially if like I'm around a bunch of introverts, 100% Chris can be a lot for like somebody introverted, you know, it can be a lot. And I'm not going to give that. I mean, if I'm in a room with a lot of other people that can mesh with me, I can probably like be up here, like not too crazy, but I keep it chill for the most part. I definitely don't try to treat it like a networking event. I mean, I love meeting people, but I also don't try to overstep, you know, just not be completely just, you know, like invisible in the room, but just kind of like take it in and just, you know, be a good hang. That's everything I've seen. Like when I moved here is like, you got to just be a good hang. You got to be a good hang. Got to be a good hang. And like some people don't get that. I guess it's easier said than done. I don't know. I feel like it's,
well, I mean,
what's a good hang?
Well, some of these people have spent decades honing their craft. Some haven't. Some have just been kind of plinking away and just have never done any personal work. But either the thing is like, it's hard to work on yourself. And if you're not, some people aren't a good hang. I know that not every person is for every other person.
For sure.
I'm not for everybody.
Yeah.
For sure. And there's a whole lot of y'all that are not for me. I'm just going to be straight up. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
I love you, but I'm not inviting you to my house ever. Not ever.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a Nashville Drummers podcast interview without Nate just verbally flipping people off.
Yeah. but
it's okay though.
It's the people that I mesh with, I'm like, I'm just gonna make sure that I never ever burn that bridge.
Yeah.
And that I don't make it awkward.
Yeah.
For them or with them.
Yeah.
And it's just it's cool to find your people and just lock in with that. And it's amazing how just a few connections like that become real homies can branch off into like 100 different opportunities.
It's insane. It is like so much of like who you know and random situations. I think I read like a post where it's like nobody gets like this crazy gig by staying at home. Like you definitely have to get out, and because you going out to maybe this one show, you could meet this one person and you could just like web out to something else. And that's kind of tough, especially like if you're alone and you don't know people like moving here. I remember like a weekend, somebody, I think I was like going on like the Yep groups, and I was like just trying to figure out everything. And they're like, yeah, go out to the Flamingo on a Wednesday night. They have a jam. And I was like, sick. And I go there by myself. I don't know like anybody. And it's like called the Invite. And it's just like all these, it's not like super open jam. Have you been?
It's not.
I have been. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like crazy players.
Yeah.
You know, they're all like phenomenal. You got Pitar on drums most of the time. And you got like Daru like comes through the door.
Yeah.
I got to like play that night after like 3 drinks. Because like I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be like
I'll not do this sober.
Yeah, it was like 2:00 in the morning. Like it was insane, and I was able to like hold it together and lock in. But like if I didn't go out that night, I may have not met somebody else. And it's also hard being the new guy and trying to really be like social out there because you're like vulnerable. You don't have like somebody else you're sitting next to. Mm-hmm. You're just out there like a hair and a biscuit, you know, just in the middle of the room. And
I've never heard that one.
Like
before.
A hair and a biscuit.
Like a hair and a biscuit. Is that a Florida thing?
It's my buddy Paul in North Carolina. That's what it is.
I was gonna say it sounds more country than Florida.
Oh yeah. No, it's pretty country. But yeah, you got to get out. I mean, I would try to meet people, but at that time, I think I was still pretty insecure about moving to town, especially like seeing players like that at the Flamingo. kind of intimidating, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's good to get out.
You have to do it. Like you said, you can't just stay home. And even if you're posting great content, which you are, and so many other drummers are, that alone is not enough. That's just not, because then you're missing it's like half the equation. Like, yeah, okay, he can play, he's good at social media, but they don't get to see that potential or personalities. That's never going to come through.
Right.
Well, you can, to insert an experience that I had rather recently. I was going to go to a jam, and I'm like, why? In my mind, I was going like, why am I going to this? And I was trying to process that thing. And, I actually called my friend, Dante Friziello. Shout out Dante. He's going to rule the world in the next few.
Isn't he already ruling the world?
He's getting there.
VP, right? Yeah,
he's VP of Earth.
Should we be scared?
Dante Friziello, Vice President of Earth. That's his official title now. I called him and I was like, "Hey man, I need you to because he's an incredibly inspirational person, and he's got a pretty clear vision for what he wants in his life." And I was like, "Hey man, here's my situation. I'm supposed to go to this jam, and I really don't, in my core, know why I'm going. I've been told I'm supposed to go, but why do I have to go?" And so he plays guitar for Steve Vai.
Okay.
And he got the job because he met Dave Weiner at Philly Guitar Club. And his response was, "Well, why was it important that I went to Philly Guitar Club?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
I love that he just knew, he just knew what to say.
And then
immediately.
And then he just goes, "Oh yeah, you have no idea just how much he has my number." Because he goes, "You're not going to make a miracle. You're going because you suck and you need to learn." And I was like, "I love you. Thank you for saying that."
I need some Dante in my life right now.
Dude, it's the best. It really is.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people hearing that got to be like, he liked hearing that he sucks? I'm like, yes. It's very good for me.
He does cold plunges too. It's okay.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It really is. You really must go out. You don't have to go all the time, but you gotta be in the scene.
It takes a bit. I was thinking last night there was a big whiskey jam Skydeck, and I was like, man, I should have been there. I mean, just to meet other people in the industry. I mean, who knows who you'll come across. But I mean, I know especially after 2020, it's hard for a lot of people to get it back out and kind of do the whole thing. It stinks, but you just I've been shut down at jams. I've been shut down. I mean, I've been in such weird positions where I've just felt especially when I didn't know anyone, I'm just there's only so long you can just hang out. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't say that because there's people that hang out at bars by themselves all the time. But I don't know anyone, and
alcoholics tend to do that.
Yeah, alcoholics. I know a couple non-alcoholics. I don't know.
That's fair.
Yeah, but they're typically bartenders too.
Sure.
So they they're off shift.
Yeah.
But you got to get out. I mean, it's huge.
My buddy Ren gave me some great advice. I went to this. I've known him from back in California. He plays out here, writes. Great player, writer, singer, blah, blah, blah. Fantastic dude. Love you, Ren. You're an awesome guy. But I was at this networking event, and I'm from a small town. So when I'm coming new to Nashville and going to a quote unquote networking event, I'm going, it's like the jam thing, but way higher on the why the fuck am I here thing. I'm going, what is the purpose of this thing? But still knowing I need to do it. I was like, what do I even do at this? He goes, "Oh, dude, you want the secret sauce? I got you." He's like, here's the line you give. "Hey, what do you usually get when you come here?" I'm like, "Oh, that's so good." For someone like me that's just how do I do a cold open on someone? How do I just start a conversation with a stranger at something like this? And if they're like, "Oh, I've never been here before," then you're like, there you go. Then that's where the conversation goes. But sometimes it really is you just need one thing like that.
Yeah.
To start the conversation.
Like an icebreaker. Yeah.
Yeah. Fat penguin.
Yeah. No, it's so easy when you're kids. I mean, people just walk up and they just say like or like kids walk up and like they say the most random things and they just like connect.
Yeah.
And it's so weird that like as we're growing up, like we just.
You ever say your Lego's on fire?
Yeah. You got poo-poo in your pants?
That was scary. I wasn't ready for that.
Legos on fire.
I just brought me back to our episode with Devin.
Yeah.
That was
and then you guys are like best friends. and then
Instantly.
yeah. And then you're playing for Jack White.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I wish it all helps. I mean, who you meet and whatnot. I did the whole thing knowing Ryan too. Ryan linked me with another gig that I got coming up. We got like 6 of the smaller opening days for Tim McGraw. And that's also linked through Ryan, you know,
Wow.
which has just been like crazy.
That's what this career is. It's just all links. It's not a ladder. I mean, it is, but it's a freaking diagonal ladder that falls, and now it's a new model ladder, and it's a different material ladder, you know.
It's a power acoustic gig.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a super cajon gig.
Cajon,
So I want to say that.
Power acoustic.
I'm
It's
super
gonna break your
fortunate.
back.
I'm
Yes, that's
so
the perfect
excited. I
analogy,
really am
yes.
so excited. I've never played an arena. So I'm like, I'm super excited about it. But at first I heard like stripped down kit arena. I'm like, sick. I'm gonna be playing it. And they're like, cajon. And I was like, cajon.
Gotta be kidding me.
And so
That's crazy because I don't play that instrument. I actually play the drum set. I don't know if you guys knew that.
I built something on top of a cajon. I built a snare drum on top of
So you bring an
a.
RV on
Yeah,
stage?
so they told me I need one piece. At first, I was thinking kick
Challenge
snare.
accepted. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking kick snare hat, and I have like a vintage Ludwig kit, and it's got like the arm for like a cymbal stand. So I was gonna put like a trashy crash, and I was gonna put a sample pad, and I was gonna do clap stack on a hi hat stand, and I was gonna do snare, so a 3-piece. I mean, they told me they have like 3 mics, and I was like, sick, I can do so much with that, and we're gonna like run tracks and all stuff. And they're like, yeah, it's gotta be cajon. And I was like, man, I really don't want to play cajon to like 15,000 people.
That never need, unless you're Jake Summers right now with Luke, that doesn't need to happen.
Yeah,
I don't
and
think.
so I was like, I gotta do something. I gotta make something. And then I literally, like, DW sells this massive boom arm that like attaches to your kick drum. It's almost like that crash. It's very like Tommy Lee. Like I swear he's had like on his 30-inch kick or something, he's had like a boom arm coming out of it or something. And so I mounted that to the side of my cajon, and it goes pretty high. And so I put my clap stack on it from Stack Ring Percussion. And yeah. And then I have a like an L rod, DW like tom rod. And then I didn't want a popcorn snare because I didn't want it to sound like reggae-ish. But I got a Dixon 12-inch snare.
Nice.
You know, it has a little bit more body. You know?
Yeah.
And I've got like a Stack Ring also makes this thing called a K stack, and it kind of sounds like a hi-hat. So I have that and a snare drum, and then my Pearl cajon that I won at the drum show. And yeah, so plug, you know, and then so I have this whole rig that goes vertical, and then the production team is like, man, that looks like he did everything to go around the no drums rule. I was like,
you did it.
That's
Yes.
exactly what I did. Yeah.
Yes, I brought a cajon.
And they were like, no.
I have followed your rules.
they were like, no. And I was like,
freaking incredible.
no. What do you mean no? And then they got back.
We're not even mad. We're just impressed.
Yeah. It sounds sick.
Are there pictures of this? Is there evidence?
Yeah. It's super cool. I'll see if I can show it to you. Yeah. But they actually came back after like persuading them, and they approved it. So I'll be able to play it. You can't.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, it's cool. So like it's a stand-up type thing, but I get to play some different textures.
Yeah.
What is on that snare?
Got to show. Oh, it's a drum tortilla. Oh, yeah,
cool.
Obviously.
I don't know if drum tortillas still do anything. Shout out if you are. It's like a couple out of Asheville that made like these. I'm pretty sure they sell them at, like Nelson's.
That's ridiculous.
But I wanted a bit more like dead and fat
Yeah.
sound. I guarantee you Darren King like uses them, or he probably just uses towels. He probably just uses like animal skin that he tears off. Like,
He's wild. And one of my favorite Darren story, my buddy Scott was in a band called the Myriad, and they were playing with Mute Math, and he goes, I was warming up backstage, and I turned, and Darren King's looking at me. It's like right there. He's like, hey. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm warming up. He goes, oh, cool. Why?
Like, oh my God, this guy doesn't believe in warming up. Like, and that's
It's a different level.
It's a whole thing. It's just like the rawness.
Yeah.
That's his superpower, which is awesome.
Yeah. It's like, don't overthink it, I guess. I
Yeah.
guess like just jumping into a set and like lifting 300 pounds.
Yeah.
like no warm-up sets or anything. Just like right into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which is scary.
Rip off the band. I mean, he used to like duct tape headphones around his head.
He sure did.
Yeah.
He sure did.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the cymbal choking thing. That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
Darren King's thing. Yeah.
But that I totally get. I'm like, you know what? If you don't like in-ears,
Yeah.
if you don't like the feel of them,
Yeah.
you want some headphones and you move your head like that guy does because he moves his freaking head, then you might want to put some duct tape on that bad boy.
Yeah.
Not the same as it ever was. Sonique Drums is the fledgling but fierce drum and percussion manufacturer based out of the Pinery, Colorado. They started their first year in business swinging and continue to punch up at the percussion industry at large. Sonique Drums is designing and manufacturing new, innovative, and better-made percussion accessories like the NATO 1, an industry-first, continually adjustable throw-off, or another industry-first, the 12-point drum key. Sonique Drums also specializes in steam-bent snare drums using domestic and exotic tone woods equipped with all brass hardware. You can demo and buy Sonique Drums original accessories and snares in Nashville at Nelson Drum Shop or meet them in person at the Music City Drum Show in July. Check them out at soniquedrums.com.
All right, so Darren King, Ryan Dawson, who are some of your other drumming influences?
Taylor Hawkins for sure. I was always a weird kid that like everyone would always come up to me like when I told them I played drums. They're like, well, you gotta know like you gotta love like Neil Peart or Pert. I've heard it's
Well, you said it
Peart.
right. You
I
said
think
it
it
right.
is. I think it's Peart.
It's
Yeah.
Peart.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
That
I don't
is-
want
that is
people.
the
People
correct
look at me
term.
like I'm crazy now because they've been saying
You're not-
Pert like their
we
whole
just
lives.
Americanize it. And he's literally Canadian.
Neil
so-
Peart.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peart.
R.I.P.
But yeah, RIP. No, absolute beast. But like, I also really like the underdogs and like the people that were like lesser known. Like, I was a big Manchester Orchestra fan, and I really like Tim Very. And
They're great. I haven't actually thought about that band in a long time,
Oh,
but I
he's-
remember loving everything I heard from them.
My band I played in Florida was very Manchester Band of Horses, old Kings of Leon type stuff. Nate from Kings of Leon, like I really liked the people that wouldn't be the obvious answer. Like
Yeah.
of course I love John Bonham. Of course I love like Ringo. I mean, everyone would always just shit on
It's so
Ringo. I'm
over-
like, but
everyone always
Ringo-
says those guys.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, I
Like,
know.
There's other players. And
Exactly.
like they deserve that respect
Yeah.
and appreciation
For
too,
sure.
You know,
There was a band I loved when I was like 16, 17. They were called Envy on the Coast. And they opened up for like Emery and Red Jumpsuit Apparatus or something. And I thought his drumming was crazy. His name was Dan Glusick. So people would be like, who's your favorite drummer? I'd be like, Dan Glusick. And they'd be like, oh, no, that guy. And so I just didn't give the generic answer. And that's kind of like also how I did YouTube covers growing up. I never played like your top 20 covers.
Yeah.
I would always play this really obscure song from this
wrong with
third
you?
album of this unknown artist. And then I'd be like, how come I only got 200 views in 12 years? It's because no one's looking that cover. Right. But I was just like, I like the underdogs.
yeah.
But
And that's what you're about to be doing, right?
yes, I think that is actually. I hate to give that away, but I think I kind of think that's the move. If you're doing that consistently, if you just put out like 50 really good covers of some obscure stuff,
Yeah.
you might not get hundreds of thousands of views. You might only get a couple hundred. But guess what? It's the people who like that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's your audience.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly who you should be going to.
Yeah.
So stop trying to like skip the line by posting, you playing to Justin Bieber or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good point. It actually makes it easier to find your audience.
Right.
It's these 6 people.
Like it's those guys. You're like,
Yeah.
well, but I wish there were more of them. Yeah, but there aren't though. So you got to go to those guys.
Yeah.
That's that I'm saying that was a smart move.
It was fun.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
definitely
stay true
did
to
it
what you
more of
like.
like a hobby. I never made money off of it or anything, but yeah, I always went for the underdogs. I mean, I love Taylor Hawkins. I'm a big Foo fan. The whole thing with Taylor was just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I just saw Josh in Franklin. He was just playing with. I mean, he was doing the Perfect Circle thing for Maynard's 60th birthday, which was wild.
Yeah.
I was like, there's Josh Freese.
Yeah.
He's a Foo Fighter now. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd been a million things, but now he's also a Foo Fighter, so that's cool.
That is on his resume now. Yeah.
I got to see them like 4 people back at Bonnaroo from like the rail. We waited in a pretty long line to get in the pit. So I got to see that whole thing, which was sick. I saw Foo Fighters in 2008, like same year they did the whole big Wembley show and played with like
Jimmy Page.
Jimmy Page, yeah. That other guy, you know, playing with Jimmy Page.
I'm like, which ones are still alive? Jimmy, John.
So I got to see like, you know, Foo at that time and then Foo now. So, but it's sick. I mean, Josh Freese is still a beast. I mean, that's
Foo at that time versus Foo now is also a pretty good song title.
Is it though? Like okay. Well, I'll let
I mean,
you
for
run with
the
that.
songs that I want to write, it is.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
But I was thinking the other day.
There's your 2-person audience. There you go.
Exactly.
I was thinking that like, you know, I've never covered like popular songs, and I was thinking, man, that's why you guys play like all the popular covers. Why? Because that's what people want to hear. No one ever wanted to hear what I posted.
Right.
I do have like the top drum cover for some songs because no one ever would look up there, or no one would ever. You win that.
Yeah. Right.
Like I have the #1 drum cover of a Macklemore song. You know,
Dude, that's so cool.
You know, it's up there.
Yeah, you picked one of his obscure ones and did it.
Yeah,
dude, that's I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Dude,
it is another version of horizontal integration.
Yeah.
It's the same thing again. That's what you got to do. You can be a Browner cow. You can be like, yes, there are people who, when they play the drums, you go, that's unbelievable. That's just like, you hear like Chris Coleman play a groove and it's so freaking undeniable. You're like, that's the brownest cow. But you can be a purple cow. You can be a cow that totally stands out by just being like, I played a song no one else played.
Yeah.
And I really like it.
Yeah.
And I killed it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's also
take it or leave
It's
it.
kind of like kind of like for progress too. Kind of like still like why I videotape like my sets and everything, just to kind of see like how far you've come.
Yeah.
I thought about posting a video recently of like my first drum cover when I was like 14, and then do the same exact songs like Every Time I Die song, and just like compare it.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally should.
Even though like back then I didn't even have like drum mics, so I would have to do it hit for hit because I would just play the track.
Yeah.
And no drum audio, because like the audio would be just peaking the camera. But yeah, I mean, it's just cool to see. It's almost like a challenge too, like learning songs. And then you lay it down and you're like, man, I did this. I've been wanting to play this one song for like 5-10 years.
Yeah.
And I finally nailed it. So that's
Dude,
sick.
I couldn't agree more. That was me with the Todd Rickerman video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But also to your point earlier,
That's
of, like,
insane.
I mean, I was gonna do it for me and no one else, but I looked on YouTube. I was like, who else has done this?
yeah.
And like literally no one had.
Yeah.
So I mean, we kind of just discussed it, like balance of like doing the mainstream, the pressure to do mainstream stuff for the algorithm
Yeah.
versus doing what you actually want to do and what you like, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's also a big thing with moving to Nashville too, and kind of getting out and playing different genres and things that you're like not used to as well. I mean, we all have like a dream slot of like one thing. But then like also as drummers, like, I mean, you can't be greedy when you move here, like with it, but you also want to enjoy what you're playing. You know, I'm sure you guys understand that too, playing like some of the Broadway stuff you play. I mean, I've played Jolene so many times, dude. And like out of all the drum grooves, like Jolene, like, and it just never ends. It just like keeps going.
Yep.
And it's just like, it's killed me. I've got a love-hate relationship with that song.
Do it with one of the crews I play with. We mix it with So Fresh and So Clean. So
Okay,
it's
good.
Joe
good.
Fresh and Jolene.
Yeah. Joe Fresh and Jolene. Yeah. Do like a mashup or like a cool, like Miley has a cool version that's kind of heavy.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But yeah, like country wasn't my first genre. My sister's 14 years older than me, and while she was through college, she was listening to all the super solid like 90s country stuff. And so literally she's responsible for all the country I kind of knew. And I knew like most of the hits and whatnot. But I listened to all genres. And so when I moved here, I mean, I know how to kind of section them off. There's a lot of people that like a specific genre and they just kind of transfer that genre to like or that's playing style to like country, which I mean, you can totally take like metal and slap it on country when it fits, you know?
Devin Attard. I've said his name like 10 times this episode because he's a beast.
Another beast.
He's doing just that. It's
exactly.
so cool to watch.
But it also really fits. Like I think I watched that episode where he said he kind of has the freedom to do that, and he does it tastefully to where it does fit. But you can definitely overplay certain stuff. I mean, depending on how you want your country to sound. If you want it to sound more like Hardy, I mean, Harry Myrie is another beast. Who, you know, like his favorite band is like Dave Matthews Band. And he's playing, you know, crazy double bass with. I was just
So
say that because, he.
Do you feel like you've taken the pop punk thing to country now?
I'll put some fun things in and like outro.
When you can.
I definitely have my own like feel on it. I definitely like when I listen to a song, I get all the key parts, and I really try to like do the song justice. I mean, that's what we do as drummers. Like we really sell the song and we support the vocal and like, you know, we make it super solid and tasteful. So I do get to have fun, you know. It all really depends on the artist and like how much they want to go out. It depends what kind of gig you're playing. But I think I've done a pretty good job of just like, you know, feeling it out. You kind of sense it with the music and everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still really enjoy what I've been playing. Of course, like I'm more upbeat, more energetic. But I still love like ballads and like slow stuff, and it's kind of cool with Clay's music. I play with this other girl, Chris Ella. I play with this guy, Holden Barter. They all have kind of a mixture of it. So they're all really fun to play. You know, I don't take something I'm really not going to be a good fit for. There's definitely been times where I'm like, I told the artist, like, I just don't think I'm a good fit for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, good on you for having that awareness. I mean,
yeah. I mean, if you just know, maybe like, and you can't force it. You got to be able to have fun, and if it's just not something for you, it's not something for you.
I mean, defies the point of doing it.
Yeah.
If I'm not going to be able to enjoy this thing, barring if you're in a situation where it's your only income and you're, say, you know, homeowner, husband needing to provide, and you're like, okay, well, in this case, you can bite the bullet. And that's not my. I mean, that is my situation. Yeah. I actually happen to enjoy what I do.
Yeah,
but
that's what I meant. Yeah.
But if you can get into a situation where you're like, well, I guess I got to just do this thing, and sometimes you just got to do a shitty job. But it definitely doesn't need to be a thing where if you're coming to this town where you're like, yeah, you know what, I just got to play a bunch of bummer gigs. Yeah. You don't have to. You really don't.
No. I always ask myself, is the juice worth the squeeze?
Great question.
That's what I always say.
Say it again.
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
I've never heard that.
You know,
is the juice worth the squeeze?
I was talking to a bass player I just played a gig with, and he said that, like, there's three things. And he said there's the music, there's the pay, and there's the people.
Yep.
And so he's like, as long as you get 2 out of those 3, that's the main goal. I mean, of course, there's times where you might do it for 1, but it's probably not going to be worth it in the end.
Yeah.
I've had so many mentors tell me that recently. I've been going through some things, and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, I always ask myself that with everything. Is I do a lot of pros and cons in my head, you know, for any situation, and just, you know, kind of outweigh it, you know. But
that's great, man. Yeah. I just let my anxiety take over my entire life, and then just like whatever happens at the end just happens.
Just making possible outcomes that are all the worst outcomes.
Yeah, and then just freaking out about it without telling anyone, even my wife. And then like when she's like, "Hey, dude, what's your problem?" I'm like, "I've been anxious for the last 2 months. Why didn't you tell me that?" I'm like, "'Cause I'm an idiot and I don't know how to process my emotions correctly."
Yeah. I know people that do that same thing.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. But just stop it. Just take a minute and meditate sit down for 20 minutes and breathe and figure out what you don't like having in your life, and just don't have it.
And just don't do it.
Just don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Don't torture yourself.
Mm-hmm. Hey, drummers, are you worried about losing your hearing? Did you know noise exposure can cause permanent hearing loss? Dr. Jason Baker with Music City Audiology provides mobile concierge services to musicians in Nashville and surrounding areas. That's right. He is 100% mobile and will come to you. If you need ear impressions, custom in-ear products, ear cleaning, hearing tests, or information about protecting your ears, he's your guy. Music City Audiology cares about drummers and wants to help you maintain your most valuable tools, your ears. Visit MusicCityAudiology.com to book your consult today. That's MusicCityAudiology.com.
Well, should we do some Nashville, some wrap up?
Let's do it.
Quick questions.
What's your favorite kind of noodle?
Favorite kind of noodle?
You thought I wouldn't remember, but I did.
I was hoping you wouldn't remember it now.
Radiatory.
Radiatory.
What is that?
Nicolettos.
Of course I know Nicolettos, yeah.
Yeah,
I've
get
never heard of-
Radiatory there. That's where you can. That's the only place you can get it.
Whoa.
Radiator-
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, what is that?
It looks like a radiator. That's the only way I know how to describe it.
No kidding.
It's really good.
It doesn't sound
it's good
appetizing.
texture.
It's good though.
Yeah. Next time you're building your next pasta bowl at Nicolettos, get the Radiatory.
I don't know what Nicolettos is, but that sounds
Build your own pasta bowl.
yeah,
that sounds
It's an
awesome.
East. This is not today's sponsor. It's really good. They have it over in by Belmont, whatever town that is.
When do they close?
Right in
I don't know.
I'm going there now.
Yeah.
Fuck this podcast.
Hey, wait.
Oh, sorry.
5 more minutes.
Sponsored by
You can do
lighting
this.
Legos
We're
on
so
fire.
close.
Sorry, guys, this is important. Pasta.
Okay, Radiatory.
Yeah.
Next drum gear purchase.
I got a it's not like it is a purchase, but I got an Artist Steel with CNC.
Cool.
Mini. It's cool. It's not like they're not giving me a kit, but it's a discount, and so I have that coming in May. So it's
Awesome.
definitely a purchase because like I'm getting a discount rate. But I've been wanting to like be a CNC artist like since I was like 13.
Dude,
Congrats.
very cool. I
Like-
can't wait to see that.
Yeah, I'm big.
Yeah, they
I
make
was
great drums.
Yeah. I had one kit, but it was just kind of like not really the sizes I wanted everything. And so I actually reached out to them, which, I mean, sometimes you kind of have to do it to see if you can, not everybody reaches out to you about, things. So it's cool. So they were like, yeah, we can work something out. I was like, sick. And so I'm stoked for that.
Dude.
I mean, a lot of my, like I was talking about Manchester Orchestra, Young the Giant, their drummer, I was like a big fan of theirs for a bit.
He's
Francois, yeah. He's
a low-key beast.
He is. And he just fully rearranged his entire setup to something crazy, kind of similar to like what Harry does with Hardy.
Yeah.
Where it's like but he plays kick now with his left foot. Harry, I think, is doing it on like a slave pedal. I don't know how he's just like, hey, let's just do it, this way now. And so he just now goes this way. He almost plays left-handed, but it's still not left-handed because he still has like a ride here. But yeah, so I'm going to get that kit. And so I'm kind of slimming down on my stuff.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked.
Making room.
I'm so stoked.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
If you could have a billboard, just a let's call it a proverbial billboard or a real one, whatever, what would it say?
What would it say?
What message would you want to send out to the world?
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Dude, honestly, that's great.
That's great.
It would be like an I Love You Man where he has all those billboards and he's like James Bond and he's like in a Speedo and stuff. It'd be an eye catcher.
Incredible.
Yeah.
It'd be something bizarre.
Yeah.
You in a Speedo and then just, is the juice worth the squeeze? What does he mean by that?
What do you? And then
Who is this guy?
I don't know. It would have like no context and no link to anything, no phone number.
I saw a billboard today.
Was it the Nashville sign?
No, it just said
That you can pay for, by the way.
it was a big,
Anybody could just have a sign up there.
wow.
a big bright red one that just said, "I'm Alexander," and it had a guy's face on it. And that's it. There was like some small print stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't read it.
That's so
No
something that
idea
you
what
would-
was. I was like, that's if I, and they're expensive as shit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like literally, I'm telling you, the moment that I become rich, I'm gonna have the dumbest billboard possible.
Like,
I'm
no
gonna
one would know, but there would be
consistently have
signs.
like the most ridiculous.
I believe that.
Yeah.
That's great.
If I ever win the lottery, I won't tell anyone, but there will be signs.
We're going to be getting a lot of emails now from our sponsors with a lot of questions. Where's this money going from? Okay, I have one last sort of deep question. Then if you want to ask another one, too, Nate. Okay, when you think of the word successful, who is the first person or type of person So this could be someone you actually know, or just type of person that you think of that comes to mind. The first person.
I mean, whoever is just still riding the wave, like who can still continuously go. I mean, like I've heard multiple times, like where there's so many, especially like drummers, like in this town, and the people that will last are the ones that don't stop. You know?
Yeah.
And I think it's just the people that really, I think that find what they want to do and it makes them happy and they don't stop doing it. I think that's success. Because I think our whole meaning of life is really just making this life the best life we can. So I think that's really it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like Seth Rogen, like, have you heard the whole thing where he's like, if you quit, you won't make it. And if you don't quit, you might make it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Exactly.
You know,
yeah.
It's like that whole thing. I mean, I've always just kept going. And so I think anybody who just continues to go, I think they'll eventually get it. They'll be successful, you know?
I love it. That's a great answer. Yeah.
Finally.
Jeff Bezos.
Oh, man. You had to ruin it with that.
Not Jeff Bezos. No.
Where would you like people to follow you?
Chris Rayner Drums on Instagram. I don't really do anything else other than Instagram now. I used to be Chris that drum guy.
Oh, that's right.
I got a lot of shit for it.
Isn't that still
Really? You got shit for that?
Chris that drum guy? Yeah. They'd be like, oh, it's Chris that drum guy. They'd be like, yeah, I'm Chris that drum guy on TikTok. I mean,
that's what I was thinking of. Okay.
Yeah, I kept Chris that drum guy on TikTok. I used to be Chris that one guy. And if we want to keep going back to MySpace.
What about that RV guy? Is that a thing?
No, I don't do that.
You don't want to do that? Yeah.
Yes.
MySpace.
Do spin-off page, bro.
What?
Yeah. Spin-off page.
I don't want to do RV stuff. Oh, damn it. It's been fun.
But it's gotten you multiple gigs, bro.
Like big major gigs.
But the thing is,
I would implore you to keep doing that.
But the thing is, like, it's a very small percentage. It's a very small pocket of things, you know. Like, I got a call. There was a touring band that was like, hey, we're under the Bridgestone Arena and stuff is going on with their bus. And they had like a UK number or something. And I couldn't call them back because my phone wouldn't call the UK number. And I was like, what band is this? Like, it could be, I love all these bands from the UK. I was like, what band needs my help under the Bridgestone Arena at this very point that's about to go on a full US tour? And never got a hold of them. Yeah, it's Rolling Stones. No, I was just thinking it could be like,
anybody.
Where's my fucking RV repairman?
Yeah.
Don't you ever call me your RV repairman? You're my fucking singer.
People they get possessive too. And then they think they own me. So I don't, that's what I'm trying to get away from it too. So I'm
Interesting.
Don't want to be owned.
The RV repair and building grind is grindier than some.
Yeah. It's a good hustle. It's been fun. But drumming.
Hell yeah. Cool.
Thank you guys for having me.
Dude, thanks for coming on.
It's been awesome.
Yeah. Dude, I like your tattoos.
My drum? You like my drum tattoo?
Cool. What else you got?
Oh, I got like I have a Matchbox 20 tattoo. It's just a Matchbox.
Yeah. You can blame it on me and put it on somebody else, but you don't stop time. Truth don't lie, as far as I can tell. The heart don't break it.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nashville Drummers Podcast. If you liked it, please consider leaving us a review on the Apple Podcast app. Please consider supporting us on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can help support this dream and keep the ball rolling for us. Believe it or not, it's not free or even necessarily cheap for us to make this thing go. To sign up, go to patreon.com/Nashville Drummers Podcast or click the link in our Instagram bio. All of your help is greatly appreciated.
Visit our website, NashvilleDrummersPodcast.com, where you can listen to all past episodes, learn more about myself and Nate, and buy all your favorite Nashville Drummers Podcast merch, including t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, hats, and drum heads. Connect with us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at Nashville Drummers Podcast.
This episode of the Nashville Drummers Podcast was recorded at Garden Groove Studios.
Tucked away in a private and soundproof studio in East Nashville, Garden Groove was born out of a desire to create a space where musicians, entertainers, teachers, and learners could come together. Garden Groove offers a quiet and relaxed environment for creativity to thrive and grow.
Their mission is seated to fostering creativity and collaboration among musicians of all levels. In addition to a state-of-the-art recording space, they also offer a range of events and workshops to inspire and connect the community.
Recording, mixing, and mastering services start at just $45 an hour, and professional audio engineering services available for an additional $25 an hour. and exclusive discounts for newsletter subscribers, 25% off your first session when you subscribe.
Visit garden-groove.com to learn more and book a session. That's garden-groove.com.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.